So one of the things I've been noticing lately due to Dragon Ball Super's popularity is that a lot of other websites, blogs, YouTubers have been coming in and talking about Dragon Ball because it's hot right now. It's back to where, it's maybe not as popular as it was in the 90s, but it is really, really popular. And as a result of that, I'm seeing people writing more and more about Dragon Ball lately. And I've talked about this on Twitter in the past about certain websites who seem to be obviously writing articles about Dragon Ball just to cash in on super success. And the two that come to mind are comicbook.com and Screen Rant. And the reason why I bring them up is because these guys, the articles that have been sent to me, I usually try to stay away from these kind of articles because whenever somebody writes about Dragon Ball on the internet, I'm a little skeptical. But today, I was sent this article over from Screen Rant. And understand, before I go any further with this video, I'm going to remain as professional as I possibly can. I don't know anybody from Screen Rant. I've never spoken to them before. I do like some of their videos on YouTube, so this is not like a thing where I hate the website. But I can definitely tell that Screen Rant is hiring writers that don't know what they're talking about. And we're going to get to that here. I was sent this article today, Dragon Ball 15 Massive Plot Holes in the Franchise. And I looked through this article, and honestly, from my point of view, this is, I've seen a lot of these, but this to me takes the cake. I have seen a lot of poorly researched, lazy, inconsequential articles written about Dragon Ball, but to me, the worst one I've ever read is this one. Like, this is really bad, and I am really wondering if Screen Rant screens, pun intended, some of these writers that they hire to write about Dragon Ball, because I have no problem with somebody making a living on the internet when it comes to Dragon Ball. Like, if you want to be a reviewer, a YouTuber, and you monetize your videos, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But my perspective is at least know what you are talking about. At least have a microcosm of an idea of what you're talking about. And this article, and again, I've seen some bad ones. This article is an embarrassment to Screen Rant, and it's an embarrassment to Dragon Ball, to everything, to the entertainment medium, okay? And if Screen Rant's watching this video, which I don't know if they are, probably not, but you guys, this is embarrassing, okay? And we're going to go through why. Now, this article was written by a gentleman named Christopher Isaac. Now, I've never spoken to Chris Isaac ever before in my life. I've never spoken to him. I've never had a conversation with him on the phone or on email. I don't know who this guy is. But I go on Twitter, and I'm going to reach out to Chris Isaac, and I'm going to say, hey, Chris, I'm doing this debunk video, letting you know ahead of time, you made a lot of mistakes here. And I look, and I'm blocked. I'm blocked from Chris Isaac's Twitter, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I've never talked to this guy before. Why am I blocked? Well, it turns out that a few weeks ago, my buddy Tragic had tagged me in he was going after, I guess he was tweeting at this guy, or whatever. And he put my name in there saying, I have to clean up some mistakes or whatever. But I didn't respond to any of this. I just stayed out of it because I don't want to get involved in anything. But I guess Chris Isaac thought that I was involved somehow, or that I put him up to it, or that I, was trying to harass him, which I wasn't. So if Chris Isaac's watching this video, you blocked me for no fucking reason, bro. But the problem is that I can't now reach out to you privately and tell you your article sucks. So I'm going to tell you publicly this article is horrible, all right? We're going to go through. So Chris talks about 15 massive plot holes in the franchise. That's already a problem because when you go through some of these, the vast majority of them aren't even really plot holes. They're not even really plot holes. And you can tell that Chris is... And there's nothing wrong with being a casual Dragon Ball fan. You can tell that he is very casual. But the fact that he wrote this article without doing a speck of research is, to me, a horrible, horrible thing for Screen Rant. Like, this is bad. So instead of me telling you how bad it is, let's go through how bad it is. So, number 15. Where were all the universe's powerful fighters when Kid Buu was destroying the universe? So the logic here is that he doesn't understand why when Kid Buu was destroying the universe in Dragon Ball Z near the end of the series, he doesn't understand why didn't the Kais go to like Universe 6 to meet up with them. Well, first of all, the Kais aren't going to go to another universe to resolve their own problems. We already know that one. And right here, it actually asks, why didn't the Kais bring in people like Frost or Hit to stop Kid Buu? Surely one of them knew these characters existed. No, they didn't. There's absolutely no indication in the series that the Kais knew who Frost and Hit were. None. And then he brings up PyCon. But yet, what's strange about him bringing up PyCon is that right here he talks about the anime and the manga. If you know about the anime and the manga, you obviously know that PyCon is not in the anime. Not just that, but I'm sorry, he's only in the anime. Not just that, but he's actually in the Kid Buu arc. There's an episode where Kid Buu goes, it's a filler episode, he goes to King Kai's, like, Grand Kai's world, and PyCon is there. And PyCon couldn't do anything against Kid Buu. Like, did you just skip that episode? Did you only watch Kai? Like, again, if you're not qualified, and yes, I do believe that if you're going to write articles on a website as big as Screen Rant, you need to be qualified to talk about Dragon Ball. And this guy, Chris Isaac, is not qualified to talk about Dragon Ball, but that's only the beginning, okay? So that's not a plot hole, buddy. The Kais aren't going to go to Universe 6 to dig up fighters to fight Kid Buu. It's not a plot hole. Who dies and doesn't die from Buu's candy beam? So here he talks about how he doesn't understand why when Dabura became a cookie, he died, but when Vegito was eaten, he didn't. Well, if you paid attention to the series, Vegito was not turned into a candy and eaten. He was turned into a candy, then he beat up Buu, Buu turned him back into a human, and then Buu absorbed him. The fact that you don't know the difference between absorption and turning somebody into a candy and eating them means that you are not qualified to talk about Dragon Ball on the internet. You're just not. I mean, again, you can cry if you want to, cry me a river. You're just not going to do it. And again, understand, I'm trying to be professional here. I don't want to name call this guy. That's not what I'm about. But this is clearly an extremely lazy article. And he's got more articles. I haven't even looked through the other articles yet. I'm not going to debunk all of them because this one was enough. This is enough for me to say that this dude, Chris Isaac's got to go. Either, do some fucking research or don't write on the internet about Dragon Ball, bro, because you're spreading misinformation and you're making yourself look stupid. Beerus says he killed off the dinosaurs, but they still exist. Okay, yes, that is one of, again, even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Yes, this could be a plot hole because, yes, Beerus does say he killed off the dinosaurs in Super, but they do still exist in Dragon Ball. He brings up a bunch of stuff about Toriyama taking a more hands-on approach with Dragon Ball Super, even though we know that Toriyama in the Battle of Gods arc didn't do that much for Super. So, again, this could be a plot hole. I'm going to give that one a pass. It is a contradiction, so we'll move on to the next one here. This is where it gets stupid. Nobody mentions Frieza has a family before King Cold shows up. Well, that's a fallacy. Because in the manga and in the anime, Frieza talks about when he fights Goku that his family, that the last time he was hit so hard was by his father, his parents or whatever. Not to mention that this is not what a plot hole is. You need to really do some comprehension, bro, and look up what a plot hole actually is. The fact that King Cold was not mentioned until he showed up, that's not a plot hole because they never once said that Frieza was an orphan or that he's the only member of his family. That's never stated prior to King Cold showing up. And if you look into the supplementary material, you find out that King Cold and Frieza are mutants of a different race. That's what they are. So just because, you never hear about his long-lost father does not warrant it being a plot hole. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you would think that. Again, not a plot hole. Why can't female Saiyans turn Super Saiyan? Okay. It's never stated that they can't. It's never. In fact, if you go to Dragon Ball Heroes, which I'm sure this guy never heard of, you can see that there are, Super Saiyans that are females. You know what I mean? And he talks about how, Gohan was able to do it. He goes on to talk about that. But he's basically saying, he doesn't understand why Bulla, Bra, and Pan didn't do it. Now, Pan was very, very strong in Dragon Ball GT. She never got the transformation. That's true, but again, this is not really a plot hole. It's more of an unanswered question. There's a difference between a plot hole and an unanswered question. And then he goes on to say that Toriyama couldn't figure out how to draw female Super Saiyans. I mean, there was an article that I think he may have said that as a joke, but come on, bro. Like, give me a break. All right, now this one's where you get really stupid. Pure-blooded Saiyans aren't supposed to grow hair, then Goku and Vegeta grow beards. So what you're telling me is you're such a Dragon Ball expert, but yet you forgot that not only did Vegeta have a mustache in GT, which Toriyama wrote, but also Nappa had facial hair. So where is the logic at? I mean, right here you even talk about how Nappa had hair when he was younger, but he shaved it and didn't grow back. So I don't understand why you're presuming that Saiyans can't have facial hair. And the other thing is that Vegeta never stated, that's a huge misconception. Vegeta never said that Saiyans don't grow hair. Like, he never said they don't grow facial hair. He said their hair always goes back to a certain look and it's always, dark. That's what he said, pretty much. Like, that they always have, like, dark hair. He never said they can't grow hair. So, no, like, that's not a plot hole. Frieza's 5-minute countdown. Now, this one is a meme. It's a joke. Yeah, 5 minutes took forever. Sure, it's not really a plot hole. It's just kind of, I guess, lots of padding in the manga. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, the anime from the manga. Because if you read the manga version of Goku versus Frieza, it's a lot faster. You know what I mean? It's a lot more condensed, so it's more believable that it's 5 minutes. But yes, we know that Dragon Balls has weird time issues. So yes, that is an inconsistency, but it's really not a plot hole. Like a plot hole, the definition of plot hole is something that contradicts something else that's already in the plot. This one's a gray area. So whatever, it's fine. Now this line right here is going to piss off a lot of people because this is when you're really grossly misinformed. He writes that a lot of characters said to have the ability to destroy a planet in Dragon Ball only for their abilities to be scaled back later. No, that's false. It's called suppressing your power. Yes, Frieza in his first form blew up planet Vegeta. Yes, Frieza in all his forms can blow up planets. Yes, Goku can also do that. Not a plot hole, buddy. It's just called not destroying the planet. That's a logical fallacy right there. Again, but this is so poorly written and poorly researched, it doesn't surprise me. Number 8, Goku is shown dying on Namek, but is retconned. All right, this is where I start to think. All right, do you not understand like clever editing, cliffhangers, how things work? Yeah, you see Goku scream, then in the next scene you see the planet blow up. Yeah, that's true. But in the very next episode, we see what happened in between the time when he screamed and when the planet blew up. And that's Goku trying to get to that ship and get off the planet before it blew up. That's not a retcon, buddy. You gotta look up what some of these words mean. Plot hole, retcon, that's not a retcon or a plot hole at all. No, it's called clever editing. We're supposed to believe that Goku died. Then the next episode we find out, no, he didn't. It wasn't really the next episode. We found out that he didn't die in the next episode. And then right around DBZ episode 123-ish, when he's explaining to the Earthlings what actually happened when he came back to Earth, then you find out what happened. That's not a retcon, though. That's not a retcon. It's just clever editing. The animation staff knew that Goku survived because the manga was ahead of the anime. So I'm just wondering if the dude was just coming up with shit to fill out the list. I mean, I really don't know. It's just, some people should lose their right to talk about Dragon Ball. And I'm not saying you have to be like a Herms or a Derek Padula or a Mr. Fusion. You don't have to be like a top level historian to figure this stuff out. Like, you could be a casual fan and know that this is just, it's not a retcon, bro. You're using the term wrong. Some people reappear on Earth after being wished back to life, some on King Kai's planet. No, yes, there's a little bit of a contradiction about when certain characters die, they don't go back to the check-in station. That could be it, but it's explained in the series that people like Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha, and Piccolo, it's explained that those guys were special cases just like Goku, and that's why they were given the opportunity to train with Kai-Osama, with King Kai. That's explained in the series. So again, this goes back to you didn't go back and watch the series, you didn't pay attention. It's just everything in this article except for one or two things is just bullshit. Like, it's amazing to me. It's just very, very strange. He talks about how Vegeta was killed on Namek, then the Namekians all came back to life and they were back on planet Namek. Like, and not. I hate this. I hate when articles play without. Oh, and it's annoying. So, anyways, he's saying that King Kai changed the rules. Well, no, King Kai never said you go to his planet, bro. You only if you're a special case. Dragon Ball Z Episode 5, dude. Like, watch the fucking series. Jesus. Number 6. Why don't the Z fighters all teach each other their techniques? How is this a plot hole? This is not a plot hole. This is just a character flaw, if anything. Why doesn't Goku teach the instantaneous movement to, Gohan? Yes, that's an unanswered question. Not a plot hole, though. There's no plot hole here. Especially since Goku and everybody else learned the Kamehameha from Roshi. Goku learned the Kaioken from King Kai, Kai-Osama. Like, this is like, dude, it's not a plot hole. Like, you're putting in a list of plot holes, but it's not even a plot hole. Like, you gotta look up the definition of what a plot hole actually is. See what I'm saying? Now, no Saiyans after Gohan grow tails. I've already done a video about this, about why Goten and Trunks don't have tails, and it's because it's a recessive trait. That's been explained by Toriyama. And again, if you do a little bit of research, or maybe watch the guy who you blocked, me, you would know that. Again, that's false. Like, that's not a plot hole. I mean, it's not explained in the series, but there is an explanation from Toriyama. See what I'm saying? So, it's like, he's saying right here, what happened to the tails? Speculation that Toriyama forgot about them. Well, if you had done your research, baby doll, you would have figured this one out and it wouldn't be in your list. Again, it just sucks that Screen Rant hires anybody, it seems, to write these articles. Number 4, people think the Z Fighters' powers are fake, but they have been witnessing them since the original Dragon Ball run. That's true, except for one problem. In the examples that you're showing here, you're wondering why it is that people who saw the World Martial Arts Tournament with the extraordinary techniques, why people were shocked to see it. Well, if you remember, of course you don't remember, but for those of you out there who might be wondering about this, the original 3 tournaments in Dragon Ball were not televised. You had to be on that island to witness that tournament. So again, if most of the world wasn't on that island, most of the world have never seen that kind of shit. However, the real contradiction is about Demon King Piccolo. He was on TV, he was terrorizing people, and then later on they all thought it was a trick or magic or whatever. Yes, that is a little bit of a contradiction, but the example with the tournament is a poor example. So that one gets somewhat of a pass. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What parts of the movies are canon? So he talks about, the confusing thing about Resurrection F, Battle of Gods, about how Wrath of the Dragon. Okay, I'm not going to go into a canon thing, but it's one of those things where he's wondering what you should count as being continuity. Again, that is a continuity error. That is Dragon Ball being convoluted, but it's not exactly a plot hole. And then, of course, he brings up how Kid Trunks gets the sword from Tapion, and it's just like Future Trunks' sword. Again, this is just stuff that even the most casual fans who go on YouTube and watch people like myself and Quaman, Black and Fist, or who go to Kanzenshu, who are a little more than casual, I would say, they know this. Again, just do your research, bro. It's just very poorly researched. Okay. This is the one that takes the cake right here. 2, the conflicting stories of when Planet Vegeta was destroyed. He talks about how when Raditz first met Goku, Raditz tells Goku that Planet Vegeta was destroyed 3 years ago by a meteor. Okay, fair enough. Raditz telling Goku that Planet Vegeta was blown up 3 years earlier was only in the English dub. Had you watched a little bit more, done a little bit of research, even Dragon Ball Wiki, you would know that that is an English dub change. And those of you who have been subscribed to me for a long time, you know that I don't like dub changes like that confuse people. And you know what? I get it. Chris was confused. If Chris is confused, he should be doing some research, because a Google search, well, I'm sure will find you the answer. I'm sure it will. Or maybe he shouldn't be writing about Dragon Ball. Then the last one on here, Goku and Gohan have nightmares about antagonists they've never met. Yes, I agree with this. It's a little weird that during Goku's coma or whatever, he's having nightmares about 17 and 18, whom he had never met. This is actually, there's truth to this. There is truth to this. It's an anime only thing though, and the fact that it's number one, like there's actually bigger plot holes in Dragon Ball than these, like the Room of Spirit and Time retcons and stuff like that you can talk about. But he's right. I do agree with him. Gohan is visualizing Cell before he even sees him. All of that is kind of strange. It is. But that's like 3 out of 15. 3 out of 15, you know. Once again, I'm just debunking this. I'm doing a video to debunk it. And I want to show people now that Screen Rant and some other websites that don't normally cover Dragon Ball, they need to really either have somebody in there to proofread or hire somebody who actually has a deeper understanding of the series and didn't just see the series once and is just making up shit. Or at least has the time to go online and do some research and learn more about the series. Because if you're going to be, and again, the problem is that this Chris Isaac guy has a bunch of articles about Dragon Ball. A bunch. And I'm like, how many of these, I'm not going to go through them all, but how many of these things are true and how much of them are bullshit when you have one article that proves you didn't do your research? God knows how bad the rest of these articles are. And it's just, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to Screen Rant. It's embarrassing to anybody who's a Dragon Ball fan. And I wanted to point this out to you guys. So thank you again for watching this debunk, and let's spread the word. And I want everybody here to tweet at, if you have Twitter, tweet at Chris and make him watch this video, and hopefully he'll understand that, buddy, I don't mind you writing about Dragon Ball, but if you could do maybe a couple more minutes of research, a couple of minutes out of your busy day writing all these articles that are probably wrong, I would appreciate it. The fandom would appreciate it, and you wouldn't make yourself or Screen Rant look incompetent. Have a nice day.